Education, also referred to as world languages, has become a core subject along with main subjects such as English, maths and science. In some countries, such as Australia, it is so common nowadays for a foreign language to be taught in schools that the subject of language education is referred to LOTE or language other than English. In the majority of English-speaking education centers, French, Spanish, and German are the most popular languages to study and learn. English as a second language is also available for students whose first language is not English and they are unable to speak it to the required standard. Teaching foreign language in classrooms. Language education may take place as a general school subject or in a specialized language school. There are many methods of teaching languages. Some have fallen into relative obscurity and others are widely used. Still others have a small following, but offer useful insights. While sometimes confused, the terms approach, method, and technique are hierarchical concepts and approaches, a set of assumptions about the nature of language and language learning, but does not involve procedure or provide any details about how such assumptions should be implemented into the classroom setting. Such can be related to second language acquisition theory. There are three principal approaches. The structural view treats language as a system of structurally related elements to code meaning, e.g. grammar. The functional view sees language as a vehicle to express or accomplish a certain function, such as requesting something. The interactive view sees language as a vehicle for the creation and maintenance of social relations, focusing on patterns of moves, acts, negotiation, and interaction found in conversational exchanges. This approach has been fairly dominant since the 1980s. A method is a plan for presenting the language material to be learned, and should be based upon a selected approach. In order for an approach to be translated into a method, an instructional system must be designed considering the objectives of the teaching, learning, how the content is to be selected and organized, the types of tasks to be performed, the roles of students, and the roles of teachers. Examples of structural methods are grammar, translation, and the audio-lingual method. Examples of functional methods include the oral approach, situational language teaching. Examples of interactive methods include the direct method, the series method, communicative language teaching, language immersion, the silent way, Suggestopedia, the natural approach, tandem language learning, total physical response, teaching proficiency through reading, and storytelling. And dogme language teaching, a technique or strategy, is a very specific, concrete stratagem or trick designed to accomplish an immediate objective. Such are derived from the controlling method, and less directly from the approach. Online and self-study courses. Hundreds of languages are available for self-study from scores of publishers for a range of costs, using a variety of methods. The course itself acts as a teacher and has to choose a methodology, just as classroom teachers do. Audio recordings and books. Audio recordings use native speakers, and one strength is helping learners improve their accent. Some recordings have pauses for the learner to speak. Others are continuous, so the learner speaks along with the recorded voice. Similar to learning a song, audio recordings for self-study use many of the methods used in classroom teaching, and have been produced on records, tapes, CDs, DVDs, and websites. Most audio recordings teach words in the target language by using explanations in the learner's own language. An alternative is to use sound effects to show meaning of words in the target language. The only language in such recordings is the target language, and they are comprehensible regardless of the learner's native language. Language books have been published for centuries, teaching vocabulary and grammar. The simplest books are phrase books, to give useful short phrases for travelers, cooks, receptionists, or others who need specific vocabulary. More complete books include more vocabulary, grammar, exercises, translation, and writing practice. Also, various other language learning tools have been entering the market. In recent years, internet and software can interact with learners in ways that books and audio cannot. Some software records the learner, analyzes the pronunciation, and gives feedback. Software can present additional exercises in areas where a particular learner has difficulty until the concepts are mastered. Software can pronounce words in the target language and show their meaning by using pictures instead of oral explanations. The only language in such software is the target language. It is comprehensible regardless of the learner's native language. Websites provide various services geared toward language education. Some sites are designed specifically for learning languages. Some software runs on the web itself, with the advantage of avoiding downloads and the disadvantage of requiring an internet connection. Some publishers use the web to distribute audio, texts, and software for use offline. For example, various travel guides, for example Lonely Planet, offers software supporting language education. Some websites offer learning activities, such as quizzes or puzzles to practice language concepts. Language exchange sites connect users with complementary language skills, such as a native Spanish speaker who wants to learn English with a native English speaker who wants to learn Spanish. Language exchange websites essentially treat knowledge of a language as a commodity and provide a market-like environment for the commodity to be exchanged. Users typically contact each other via chat, VoIP, or email. Language exchanges have also been viewed as a helpful tool to aid language learning at language schools. Language exchanges tend to benefit oral proficiency, fluency, colloquial vocabulary acquisition, and vernacular usage, rather than formal grammar or writing skills. Across Australasia, Language Perfect, an online vocabulary learning site, is frequently used as it enables teachers to monitor students' progress. As students gain a point for every new word remembered, there is an annual International Language Perfect contest held in May. Many other websites are helpful for learning languages, even though they are designed, maintained, and marketed for other purposes. All countries have websites in their own languages, which learners elsewhere can use as primary material for study, news, fiction, videos, songs, etc. In a study conducted by the Center for Applied Linguistics, it was noted that the use of technology and media has begun to play a heavy role in facilitating language learning in the classroom this year. With the help of the internet, students are readily exposed to foreign media, music videos, television shows, films, and as a result, teachers are taking heed of the internet's influence and are searching for ways to combine this exposure into their classroom teaching. Translation sites let learners find the meaning of foreign text or create foreign translations of text from their native language. Speech synthesis, or text-to-speech (TTS) sites and software let learners hear pronunciation of arbitrary written text, with pronunciation similar to a native speaker. Course development and learning management systems such as Moodle are used by teachers, including language teachers. Web conferencing tools can bring remote learners together, e.g. Illuminate. Live players of computer games can practice a target language when interacting in massively multiplayer online games in virtual worlds. In 2005, the virtual world Second Life started to be used for foreign language tuition, sometimes with entire businesses being developed. In addition, Spain's Language and Cultural Institute Instituto Cervantes has an island on Second Life. Some internet content is free, often from government and non-profit sites such as BBC Online. Book 2, Foreign Service Institute, with no or minimal ads. Some are ad-supported, such as newspapers and YouTube. Some require a payment. Learning strategies. Language learning strategies have attracted increasing focus as a way of understanding the process of language acquisition. Listening as a way of learning. Clearly, listening is used to learn, but not all language learners employ it consciously. Listening to understand is one level of listening, but focused listening is not something that most learners employ as a strategy. Reading as a way to learn. Many people read to understand, but the strategy of reading text to learn. Grammar and discourse styles can also be employed. Learning, vocabulary translation, and rote memorization have been the two strategies that have been employed traditionally. There are other strategies that also can be used, such as guessing, based on looking for contextual clues, spaced repetition with the use of various apps, games and tools, e.g. Duolingo, Linguimonkey and vocabulary stickers. Knowledge about how the brain works can be utilized in creating strategies for how to remember words. Code switching, that is, changing between languages at some point in a sentence or utterance, is a commonly used communication strategy among language learners and bilinguals. While traditional methods of formal instruction often discourage code switching, students, especially those placed in a language immersion situation, often use it, if viewed as a learning strategy, wherein the student uses the target language as much as possible but reverts to their native language for any element of an utterance that they are unable to produce in the target language, as e.g. in Wolfgang Butzkam's concept of enlightened monolingualism. Then it has the advantages that it encourages fluency development and motivation, and a sense of accomplishment by enabling the student to discuss topics of interest to him or her early in the learning process before requisite vocabulary has been memorized. It is particularly effective for students whose native language is English, due to the high probability of a simple English word or short phrase being understood by the conversational partner. Teaching strategies. Blended learning combines face-to-face teaching with distance education, frequently electronic, either computer-based or web-based. It has